Show me.
I'm the martial arts film freak, and I watched The Swordsman.
태호가 아비 덕에 자식이 먼저 죽겠구나. 내 딸
나라가 다시 고통에 놓이는 것을 막으려는 것이다.
나에겐 그 아이가 나라요.
The Swordsman is a 2020 film from South Korea, directed by Jae-hoon Choi, starring Jong Hyuk, Man-sik Jong, Angelina Danilova. That's not that. Oh, she was like in this movie for 2 seconds. Why is she on IMDb? This is already a weird IMDb, and I don't like it. Seung Hyun Ji, and a lot of other people that I don't know because I don't know that many South Korean actors. This IMDb is awful. So The Swordsman is about this swordsman, and also just like two other swordsmen, but it's about this main one mostly, who is raising his daughter in isolation in the woods, and they're happy, they're just living their quiet life. And she takes the job of essentially like, she's being like adopted into a royal family, but really she's kind of working for them. And in this, she is abducted and taken into sort of slavery, and the swordsman who lives in the woods has to go get her back. And then there's also another swordsman who was an ex-soldier who is also working in his government. And then there is another swordsman from another dynasty who is sort of invading them and is abducting the girl. There's sort of a lot going on. While the movie tries to be a bit more complex with its characters and its narrative and their deep story between these three characters, it really doesn't do that much and really just is taken, but in period South Korea. Now that is not particularly a bad thing. It tries to layer in an entertaining way, and Taken is a simple concept that every movie has done. If you throw in martial arts and swords, well, I'm freaking down for that. Depending on when I release this, I may have done this one the week after Crazy Samurai Musashi. If you were looking for a good sword fighting movie and you watched Crazy Samurai Musashi and felt ultimately let down because it was actually really, really boring, I recommend you check out The Swordmaster. The Swordmaster is a great antithesis to Crazy Samurai Musashi. It is not a 77-minute long single take fight scene. There is editing, there are cuts, they are not terrible. There are times where I wish it was just a little bit better, but it's not bad. It's actually quite good. And the choreography is fantastic, especially when you've got someone like Joe Taslim. How did I forget to mention Joe Taslim? Oh, it's because that IMDb sucked. I seriously went through like 15 people and didn't even see Joe Taslim, and he is the main villain. Joe Taslim is fantastic. He's essentially just being a dick. And I guess Joe Taslim's kind of good at that, although mostly we see him as good guys and stuff. But Joe Taslim is the villain, and he is fantastic. There's a lot of other, just it's kind of like proficiency porn. It's like watching a John Wick or Ip Man, where our swordsman in the woods, who's also going blind. The movie, I guess, gives you like two reasons for why he's going blind. In the beginning, it tells you he has an illness that's causing him to go blind. But we also see flashbacks of him and one of the other swordsmen in a fight he was in when he was a teenager, and his sword shattered and like the shrapnel went into his face. So you'd think like, oh, he got shrapnel in his eyes, that's what's causing it. But then it's also saying his disease is what's causing it. So that's confusing, and I didn't like being confused about that. But as I'm saying about the proficiency porn kind of thing, there are several scenes where he just clearly is an amazing fighter, amazing with a sword, and so you're just watching one dude slaughter a bunch of people, and he hardly ever takes damage. The style of his choreography really reminded me of Rurouni Kenshin. It's not your typical what would you call it? It's not your typical kendo kind of style. It's not a lot of like bushido kind of stuff, which makes sense. It's not Japanese. The swords just kind of feel it. The swords look a little Japanese to me. Then again, I suppose I don't know what a Korean sword looks like. But his style was really made me feel like it was derived from Rurouni Kenshin. It's just so much movement, so much back and forth, a lot of sliding around. That was quite good, quite entertaining. But there's multiple sections where he just takes on like multiple people, takes very, very little damage, and just destroys them. Just rolls through them, slicing, stabbing, cutting a couple heads off, and it was amazing. This movie did not blow me away, but it was an excellent antithesis to Crazy Samurai Musashi. I feel bad that I'm talking about another movie during one review, but that just shows how boring the other one was. This is the sword movie to watch if you are a martial arts fan. If you are wanting good fight scenes, if you also like, some sort of good references to something like, what is it called? Zatoichi, the Blind Swordsman. This is a definite fun watch. I'm going to give the Swordsman, let's go about 3.5 wild dog metaphors out of 5. 3.5 wild dog metaphors. You'll get that. You'll watch it because it's good. So I think you'll watch it, and you should watch it. There's a whole metaphor about wild dogs and if you should tame them or kill them and all that stuff. And it's a metaphor for your villain, for your enemy, and whether you should try to tame them or put them down. And it's fun. This is a fun movie. I don't think it's great. I think it wants to be better than it is. I think any movie does. Like I said, it tries to layer its story in a way that doesn't entirely work. Like, you're going to get it. You're going to get the point. But at the end of the day, it's just taken with swords in period South Korea. It's very entertaining. The fight scenes are fantastic. Joe Toslam, his whole team of bad guys, all of it's good. It's just not as complex a story as I think it wants to be. But tell me what you thought of The Swordsman in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where there is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.